Whether you're soaking up the incredible atmosphere or cheering on a loved one at the London Marathon, you'll need to know the best locations and how best to see your runners. But what are they and which are the best? The London Marathon is one of the world's most iconic races, drawing thousands of runners and millions of spectators. Choosing the right spot to watch can enhance your experience, whether you're after great views, energetic crowds, or simply the best chance to see your runners multiple times. I've compiled my top location recommendations as well as some essential tips to make the most of this unforgettable day. So let's kick off with some of the best viewing locations. The start line at Greenwich and Blackheath. So an obvious place to start, but the buzz here is electric. You'll see runners excited and fresh-faced, the adrenaline is palpable, and it's a great moment for photos and encouragement before seeing them off. The start line is split across 3 areas: Greenwich Park, Blackheath and Shooters Hill Road. Just make sure you know whether they are starting on the red, green or blue routes beforehand, as there are different routes at the start to manage congestion. Remember to arrive early, as the nearby stations such as Greenwich or Blackheath will be busy. It's a great experience escorting your loved ones to the start zone, and finding roadside space further up the route is usually pretty easy. Cutty Sark, mile 7. If you're heading to the start zone, then the Cutty Sark is a good consideration for a second viewpoint. It's a doable walk from the start zone, around 30-35 minutes, and as one of the race's iconic sites, it is usually buzzing with a lively atmosphere. It does get extremely busy down there though, as the course weaves and loops. It can be tricky for runners and spectators to pick each other out compared to some of the other locations coming up. Deptford, mile 8. Your runners should be looking fairly fresh still at Deptford, and it's around mile 8 on the course. The pavements are relatively quieter here, which means spotting your runner is that much easier. So if you want a front row view of all the action and potentially a hug of your loved one, then this is probably the area for you. Tower Bridge, mile 12 to 13. This is one of the most iconic spots on the course. The sight of runners crossing Tower Bridge with its stunning backdrop is unforgettable. It's also the halfway point, so runners will really appreciate your support and that boost. For me, the wall of noise at Tower Bridge is probably one of the most spectacular parts of the marathon route, of any marathon route for that matter. The atmosphere is electric, but as you can imagine, it's incredibly busy. So arrive early for a front row spot. The bridge is easily accessible by public transport at Tower Hill Station or London Bridge Station. You can also combine Tower Bridge with other nearby spots like Canary Wharf or the finish line for a multi-location viewing plan using the underground network. I and my family have often based ourselves around Narrow Street instead of Tower Bridge. This is after mile 13, but it's a short walk to Limehouse, making it a great bonus spot where you can see runners twice. As the name of the street suggests, it is pretty narrow and not huge amounts of space on the pavements for spectators, but I've never had a problem spotting my very, very loud family here. Canary Wharf, miles 15 to 19. This area is a little bit more spaced out and spread out, making it slightly more relaxed viewing experience comparatively to Tower Bridge. It's where some of the runners may start to feel a little bit fatigued, so your cheers will be extra motivating at this point. Canary Wharf is well connected via the DLR and Jubilee lines. Support is a little bit thinner compared to the last 5 miles of the race, so there's a good chance your runner will spot and hear you here. Limehouse, mile 21. A short walk from Narrow Street, this area at mile 21 is a much needed booster zone for runners having hit or hitting the dreaded wall. And as such, it provides its own wall, a wall of noise for spectators to get engulfed in. The energy is amazing and spectators here really play their part. Embankment, mile 24. By this point, runners are giving their all to finish strong. The atmosphere, again, is electric, with spectators cheering loudly to encourage those final miles. This stretch runs along the Thames, so you'll have great views. Embankment, Blackfriars and Temple stations provide good access to the marathon route here. It does get very busy here though. In fact, I found plenty more space a bit further round alongside St James's Park, and it was much better. More space, and you can see your runners a good way in the distance coming towards you. The finish line and the mile 26. Alternatively, watching runners cross the finish line with Buckingham Palace in the background is incredibly emotional. This is where all the hard work finally pays off. Access via Charing Cross, Green Park or St James's Park stations are the best service stations. Be aware that the Mall is ticketed for some areas, so check the event website ahead of time. Definitely arrive early here if you don't want to be disappointed, as it's obviously a very crowdy spot. Alternatively, head to nearby St James's Park for a quieter view at the final moments before heading over to meet up at Horse Guards Parade. Right, some other quickfire tips for spectators on London Marathon race day. Plan ahead. Study the marathon route and estimate your runner's pace using their expected time. Consider kilometre or mile road signage plans as approximate areas to look out for them. Real-time tracking. The London Marathon app can also help you track them in real time. Although this can get very busy on race day and a little bit glitchy, the 5k intervals give you an idea of how fast they're progressing along your locations. As it's very popular on race day, why not try another tracking app as well? On previous races, I've had family and friends track me on the Live 360 app on the day, and this is a fairly accurate real-time location tracker. Use public transportation wisely. If you're new to London, be sure to download a tube app which will help you get from A to B in the quickest route possible to maximise the number of chances of seeing your loved ones. Be prepared for overcrowded stations. Popular spots like London Bridge and Westminster can get packed, so be ready to walk a little bit further to less busy stations, or plan some of the points mentioned walking between spots. Dress for the weather. London's weather is unpredictable, so bring layers, waterproofs and comfortable shoes for walking and standing. You're going to be on your feet a lot, and your running loved ones will have little sympathy for your aches and pains. Pack the essentials. Carry snacks and water, as it can be a very long day, and some snacks for your loved ones running, as they will definitely appreciate it when you meet up at the finish line. Remember to stay behind the barriers and listen to the marshals. This ensures everyone has a good view and keeps the race safe for runners, especially when crossing designated areas. These runners have been training for months, so don't ruin their race by disrupting their flow. Cheer enthusiastically. I'd say this is an essential. If you've not got a hoarse voice at the end of the day, then you are doing it wrong. Whether you know the runner or not, a simple "you've got this," insert stranger's name on bib, can make a huge difference to runners. Plan a meeting spot. The finish line will be crowded, so arrange to meet your runner at a designated point nearby, such as a landmark or a quieter street, or you will be able to find your runner at Horse Guards Parade at the end of the Mall, where the meeting zone is arranged alphabetically. So just make sure that you know that you're going with first name or surname. Be noticed. To get yourself noticed by your runner, funny signs are good too, and get out your brightest t-shirt or hat and make yourself easy to spot. Finally, what is considered the best place to stand probably depends on many factors that you'll want to consider, such as the noise level, ease of access and atmosphere. So if you want the roaring atmosphere, I'd suggest Tower Bridge, Embankment and the Mall. But if your priority is to catch a guaranteed sighting of your runner and them spotting you too, then the Isle of Dogs, Deptford or Mudchute is a lot quieter. I hope you found these tips helpful. If you did, smash the like button, give it a share, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll see all my running videos, including these on the screen now, on how to tackle the London Marathon. Do you have any viewing location tips? Share them in the comments below. Hope to see you soon on the channel. But for now, happy running.